Hey guys, RZR 280 here. Just doing a quick take on our new unit here. It's a 2018 Polaris RZR Turbo Dynamix edition. We just went down to Abernathy's in Tennessee to pick this up. We are coming from a 14 XP900 to this, new turbo unit. So quite a bit's changed from the 17 model year. In the 17 model year, they changed quite a bit. So we'll go through some of those details here. And kind of also for the 18 year, tell you what Dynamix is all about. When I was researching this, I found that there were very few videos that actually gave a good overview of the Dynamix, that didn't seem to be paid for by Polaris in some way or fashion, since so much of the video was from, kind of canned shots from Polaris, and it seemed like they really put in some takes for Polaris. So this is just an owner's perspective. I actually haven't really used this unit much on the trails and stuff, but I'll give you kind of a take on what I'm seeing as a difference from the, the 14 XPs to what we have today. So I'm gonna do a quick just walk around so you can see how it looks. You can see this black pearl is actually slightly dusty here, but it does have some flake in it, which you can see. This is the only color that you can get in the Dynamix. And then I did add this low profile front bumper from the factory that is not there, nor the mirrors or the window or the backup mirror right there. You do get the factory red grille, and right behind here, if you actually pop these off, which I don't know if I can do with one hand, I can. You can actually see the radiators there, so kind of nice. In 17, they increased the opening here 20% to actually allow for better cooling, since the early turbo models actually had some issues with overheating. So they did remedy that here for 17. Okay, had to get that popped in there. So, yep, so again, this is an 18 model, but I'm gonna kind of go through some of the 17 changes. So just so you guys are kind of aware with where did they make these changes, right? The headlights on the Dynamix are smoked, so you can see that, especially as I come around to the side here. And they are a full LED headlight, and you'll see that the taillights are as well. In terms of suspension, these are a Fox 2.5-inch podium setup. However, with the Dynamix system, which we'll go through in a little bit, you can see this valve here is really what makes the Dynamix what it is, or the actuator, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Looking here, you can actually see there's triple piston front brakes, so definitely no issue stopping here. And then dual piston in the rear. Obviously, as you get, since I think 14, 15, you get these half doors. You can get little doors that go inside the center piece here to really close it in. Here's your intake for the CVT system. So your drive belt system. You do have frog skin netting here on the outside that kind of keep all that debris out. It is on the outside and the inside that actually pulls in air. And then on this side, I believe, is the side that actually feeds your engine. So what I was getting to with that, here, you can see the air comes in, goes down this tube, and actually goes directly into your belt system to help keep those belt temps down. The rear shocks here are 2.5 inches as well, so 2.5 inch front and rear. You get 18 inches of travel in the rear, and I think 14 in the front. Someone might need to validate that for me, but it is up pretty decent amount. And you can see there's just an astronomical amount of room for those wheels to move up and down. And then in general in 17, they really increased a lot of the tubing size on the suspension components. So you can see here this trailing arm is a nice squared tubing. Ours on the 14 actually had some circular, and then some of it was squared off. It was kind of weird, but it wasn't this thick. So it's a nice, good, solid piece of metal, really. Your axles here in 17 were actually increased in diameter as well, as opposed to the older ones. I'll try to do an overlay so you guys can see how these compare between the two models. And then here you can also see these tubes here are also pretty thick, in all honesty. So I think Polaris knew what these owners were doing with these units and made sure to accommodate that to, no one wants broken parts on the trail, and I think perhaps that was happening, so they just upgraded the components to match and set you up that way. Now these are not really approved for towing to any great extent. You can in low range, but I wouldn't really advise it with these units. I might look at a General instead, or perhaps a Ranger if you're really not looking for the sporting intentions of these side-by-sides. This is really just meant for pulling you out from wherever you're at. It's just a tow point for this unit. You can see there's a backup camera with infrared sensors here that actually put out some infrared light so you can see at night. So pretty nice there. You do have LED taillights. Just giving you a general profile of the rear. And then you can kind of see some of your cargo capacities here. It's 300 pounds. There's a decent amount of room in this box, but it's definitely gotten smaller through the years, which is, you know, kind of unfortunate. But in the same case, I'm sure not many people are buying these to really go out and tow or store and move a lot of items. I think it's just a case where, you know, you're buying these boxes to put your cooler in for the day, with sodas and things like that. You know, I definitely don't put beer in there. I don't advise riding these units with any type of alcohol or really any, you know, motorized vehicle with that. But, you know, you're putting in your lunch items for the day, keeping in a nice cooler that they actually make that are specifically for these boxes. So now the turbo unit, right? You know, what's that all about? I mean, obviously if you're watching this video, you know what it is, but you're getting 168 horsepower on a unit that weighs 1,500 pounds. So 0 to 60 on these units is less than 5 seconds, which is pretty insane. And I know for a fact this particular one I know goes over 80. I don't really know, pardon the wind here, but I don't really know the top speed, but you know, it's more than enough of what you're looking for and what you really need in these things. But I just think the actual power that you can do with these and the actual power that goes to the ground is just insane. I mean, I really don't know where they're going to end here in the industry, and I know Polaris and Can-Am are constantly fighting, but I mean, there are cars today that still don't put out that much in an automobile that's meant for public roads. So one thing I didn't mention is you do have a stabilizer bar front and rear for these units. That was changed in 14 for us. We didn't have that in 14, I guess I should say. So you can see here you have your turbo back here. I can actually get a better view for you from the other side. So right up there is your turbo. I think it says Pro Star on it. There you go. So pretty nifty. All right, continuing on, a couple more of the changes that they've done with these units. In 17, they did change your steering ratio, so this is 1.5 turns from lock to lock versus 2 and what they used to be. And you also actually have a, you know, off on accessory and then run on these units as well. So we'll touch base on the ride command here in just a bit. That does come factory with this unit, so even though you're paying quite a bit for it, you do get that added convenience of ride command, which is very nice. Then here you can see all of your switches for headlights, off, on, high beam, two-wheel drive, high, and then firm, sport, and soft for your adjustable suspension here. In your wheels, you have Maxxis Bighorn 29 by 9 14s, so pretty decent size. Those are a couple, definitely bigger than our old unit. In fact, the whole unit's actually taller and doesn't fit where we used to keep it, so we got to find a new storage location for it. You can always spot a turbo by this hood scoop here. This is signature for the turbo. So some guys are taking their standard 1000s, putting turbo hoods on them. You know, it looks nice, but still, I don't know, it is what it is. It actually is a functioning hood scoop too. There actually is a duct here that is open. You can't see if I can adjust this. No, I can't. But there is a duct there that actually takes this air in. It's not a closed fake hood scoop and ducts it directly down to that front intercooler. So pretty nice setup with the way they did that. So let's talk about Dynamix. And this is really what I'm sure you're all here for at this moment, is really what that's all about. So in any standard suspension system, you have your adjustable compression, which is kind of on a clicker at the top of it, atop of the shock, and you can adjust from, you know, 0 to 24, 0 to 16 if you have Walker Evans, 24 for Fox. But really you set those and they can't be adjusted until you're off the machine again. And you can set them for a nice soft ride or perhaps a firm ride, but it all depends on what you're doing that day. With the Dynamix system, it actually enables you to, you know, specify how you want to ride as a firm, sport, or soft, but it can also be active. So if you slam on your brakes while going down the road, it will firm up within 0.04 milliseconds, or 0.04 of a second, 0.04 milliseconds. It will firm up that front suspension and actually lock it right up so you don't have nosedive. And the same applies with the rear, to lock up your rear shocks compression so there's no squat in the rear. And if you're turning on a corner, let's say you're turning left, it will firm up the right side of the unit so your right side doesn't encounter body roll. So just really neat stuff they're doing here. And on top of that, if you're flying through the air, for example, because obviously people are jumping these units, it will detect that through the 6 sensors that it's going with, and actually, firm up all 4 of the shocks to be 10. So you land and you don't have, you don't bottom out because the compression set so high. So, give you a quick overview of what that looks like. So right here it is on firm. If I went to sport, my steering wheel is turned, so it's in like a demo mode right now, so it's actually not really what the unit's doing. And then comfort is 1, and actually I felt the whole unit just drop because the compression was down so far. If I hit the brake, you can see it goes to 5. If I were in sport mode, it would lock them up to 9 to prevent any dive, and then obviously firm would have 10. If I hit the gas, you can see that on the left dial there, as I go up, it goes up, and as I get closer to my higher throttle components here, or points in the throttle, you can see that it's firming up that rear suspension. If I turn the wheel, you can see it's cornering, and it detects that, and if I were off the ground, it would detect that as well. So, pretty neat stuff here, and I just really wanted to give it a go and see how they do, and how advanced these units are getting with the years. It's just, insane. Quick look at the seats. I did like too is that these are adjustable forward and rear. I can't do it with my one hand, but you do have that for both seats, so you can actually go forward and back. Very nice. And they did give us a proper glove box now to where you actually turn the handle and this goes down and you're good. So overall, this is a great unit. It's been good so far. Mind you, it's still brand new, so I can't have any really weight on that, but our old unit didn't give us any trouble except for a belt going out once, but that was of my own wrongdoing because I tried pulling a tree that had fallen with a tow strap, and it just wasn't really what it was meant for. So my own wrongdoing. The actual unit itself was great, and I think Polaris makes enough of these units that I feel like they probably have figured it out and really how to really get these perfected. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I'll be happy to answer any of them. Alright guys, let's take a quick peek at the ride command here. Just pulled inside the garage to get some better lighting. So put your key in, go ahead and turn the key. See, it turns on. Something nice doing. You do have a backup camera. You can see the pups just chilling there waiting for me to be done with the video. And you do have the option for a front camera. However, the Dynamix does not come with that from the factory, so you're just going to get a blue screen here. But that is an option. This is another screen that you can use here. Just has your temp. No, this is actually boost, so you can change that to what you'd like. This is your boost gauge, and this is your throttle, or your gas, rather. Just another gauge here, and again, you can just change boost, coolant, whatever you want. I like to leave it on boost. And then this is your trip meter. Right there, so I got 7 miles on it thus far. You do have a radio in here as well, and you can just press FM, and you have FM tuner, AM, national NOAA weather radio. I guess that's some national service. And then you have Bluetooth audio and USB input. So there are no speakers on this as well, so if you want to use this, you can either add speakers to the unit or you can listen through your headset, whichever you prefer. And you do have onboard navigation as well. I'm just covering up some details as far as where I live, but you get an idea of what you can see here. You can actually go into routes and things like that and ride with your buddies on Ride Command, and just provides you a nice live GPS. This is nice for when you get out into some areas where you just don't have cell phone signal and you really need to keep track of where you're going. And then here is where you can connect your phone. You can make phone calls and do some small texting within the unit, just as quick replies. And this is where you'd apply your headset if you want to talk to passengers or anything along those lines. And you have diagnostics here. This is where you can check for any fault codes in the unit. General settings for the machine, nothing too crazy, just, things like that. You have ride stats, just where you've been, what you've done, elevation changes, things like that. You do have full control of a GoPro camera. You can start your recording, add your camera, and even review your media right from there. So great GoPro integration as well. Just a general lock of the screen. I don't really know why you need that, but it's there. And I do like that you do have volume controls pretty much anywhere you go to go ahead and adjust that volume as you're using the machine. And if you want to change the station, it's a pretty quick, easy change. So you can see cell phone signal on the top left side. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the review today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll make sure to answer that. And also please subscribe to my channel. I take pride in the videos that I put out and hope you find some help. I hope they're helpful for you with whatever you're looking at purchasing or if you have any general questions. So again, press like, and if you really want to get notified for my videos, go ahead and press that bell as well. So I'll keep you guys tuned with what we do with this Dynamix. We're going to go ahead and put mirrors, windshield, things like that on it. And, I'll probably do an update video, or you might see it in one of our videos down the road. So probably the first trip for this is going to probably be to Silver Lake Sand Dunes here in Michigan. We're going to see how it really performs out on those trails out there. Or not trails, but out in the dunes. So keep you guys posted, and take care. Make it a great day, and I'll catch you later. It's the only color that you can get in the Dynamix, but I think it looks quite sharp. You can see it is a metallic paint here on the black, and then the red is just a standard flat red. This, if you're looking at these RZRs, but in 2017 they actually opened the it's my shadow, buddy. They opened the so a lot of people also think this is actually a 1000cc engine turbocharged, and it's not. It's a 925cc. So just a fun fact of the day.